that she loved living. And this joy that she had, she brought that up and she gave it to you. And that joy is the joy that she had in her heart. And this joy is something that you guys all talked about. You all, in my conversations with you, you spoke about the joy that she had. That joy of life, that lust for life that she had because she loved living. And nothing could keep her down. Not getting into an accident, living for much longer than most of us probably thought she would ever, and losing a leg, and then a second leg. But none of that kept her down. None of that kept her down. Why? Because of the joy she had. Because that joy didn't come from her. That joy came from her faith. That joy was the joy of Christ in her. And that's why we can say with the prophet who wrote the readings, there is a time for mourning, a time for laughing. And this may be a sad time, but it's our faith. We console her and we console each other with our faith because we hope in the resurrection. And that's why in our second reading, we hear about Christ. We hear about what will separate us from the love of Christ. Will anguish, distress, or persecution? Nothing. Nothing separates us from the love of Christ. Why? Because the love of Christ is so contagious. The love of Christ is so contagious, it welcomes the stranger. It welcomes friends and family, no matter what. And Rosie did this as well. Always welcoming those in her life. Always welcoming friends, family, friends, and those who she didn't know. Why? Because she had something that no one else could have, that no one else could touch for her. That's that faith that she had. We have that faith. We share in her faith. And it's the faith of the cross, the faith of the resurrection. Because the love of Christ is so perfect. And it's exactly what we need when we need it. And it's always there for us. And we just have to trust in that love. Because that love, when we love like Christ, we can remember that Rosie did it too. Rosie loved that way. And how do we know? We just look around. And the stories that you tell each other, the stories of all of this love that she had, of just feeding anyone that comes in the door. This love, this was a love that goes beyond herself. And we can't explain all of this love all the time. But this love is something deeper. Because it's the love that lasts. You know, St. Paul writes, he says there are three virtues, the faith, hope, and charity. And the only one that lasts through this life and into the next, is love. Because faith is believing in what is hoped for. And what's hoped for? Well, we have a hope for the resurrection. But once we have died, all that remains is love. God invites us into that love. And he asks you if you will be a disciple, if you will follow him. And so we approach this mountain that we've spoken about in our gospel. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And the Beatitudes. What do we learn from this? Well, blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Mercy. What is mercy? Mercy is that love, that walking with compassion. It's walking with the other. Right now, we will no longer have Rosie with us on this earth. But we hope for and we pray that we may be with her one day again. And it's that mercy of walking together, walking with each other during this time. Because it's going to be hard. There's going to be a lot of firsts in this coming year. But that doesn't have to be the last. And it doesn't have to be horrible. We can make the best of it. Why? Why? Because we hope. We love. And we have faith. This is why we come here today. Having now offered up our prayers, and now we continue to offer our prayers for you all, but for Rosie. Because we entrust her and her soul to the mercy of God. We ask that God grant her eternal life. how we pray. And we pray together in this Mass, offering the greatest prayer that we can ever pray. Because the Mass is where we truly know the love of God. Because that's what happens. The passion of Jesus Christ on the cross is that same thing that happens in the Mass. The same sacrifice, just in another form. The Mass is a beautiful prayer. And it's the greatest prayer that we can pray. And we offer this Mass for Rosie.